This the link up. This the link up. This the link up. Welcome to the link up. This the link up. This the link up. This the link up. Welcome to the link up. Oh. Yes, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Link Up Podcast with your host, Mr. King, Kana, and Woods here. Well,
hello. Well, you get accustomed to it now.
It's so instinctual and stuff like that. I saying Woods here, but obviously Woods is not here.
Due to how you want to say it?
Scheduling issues.
Yeah, scheduling issues. Woods will not be able to make it this episode because, the man busy making his stuff and all of that. So, no Woods this episode.
No. But in the place of Woods, we got a special guest in the building.
Yes. A fellow Ebenezer.
Hello.
Ebenezer.
Ebenezer.
Ebenezer. I didn't know that. I forget the term.
What
go on?
We got Sjorensly in the building. I mean, at least let me sit in my name.
No. I get excited. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got Sjorensly in the building, better known as Piet for most people, probably, I assume.
Yeah, Piet is good. Piet
Want the last name out there too?
Yeah, sure, why not? Valies.
Okay.
Hey, it's a small family, but hey.
For those of y'all who've been following the Link Up, you might recognize that last name because the younger brother was on the show a couple months ago.
Yeah, when? That was a while back. That was more than a couple. I feel like by now, but yeah.
Couldn't been recent because he in the Philippines right now.
Yeah, definitely. Yo,
the man busy killing the volleyball.
Speaking of that, that's something too I want to bring up I want to bring up in general, but shout out to the homie in the Philippines doing his thing because if I am not mistaken, I saw an article saying that, or he posted himself, that the team he on is ranked number 1 in the Philippines when it comes to volleyball, and he was also named the best attacker.
Yeah, I don't remember if the team he was on was ranked there. I don't remember seeing it by his side, just more in reference to him being the best attacker in that little league that
maybe he was in the team. I had just assumed that him being the best attacker was linked to the number 1 team, so I just assumed that was the team he was on. But even if he's not on the number 1 team, he is the best striker, period. And he's a smart enough
Spiker.
You
thinking football, man?
Well, he strike the ball, same thing. Anyway,
big up to Martin talent.
Big up to Martin talent. Yep. Big up to Ebenezer talent. Let's
yes, sir. Sir.
He from Ebenezer.
Yes. So congratulations, Reed, man.
Yeah, but big up and keep it up, by homie.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So now, let's get to business. Sjorensly, for the people that may not be familiar with you, could you give us a little background on who you are, exactly what you do?
What I've done, what I do. Well, personally, again, my name is Sjorensly Valies. Everybody knows me as Piet. Grew up on St. Martin, grew up Ebenezer most of my life. And I came back to Martin in 2011 from Holland after studying in Holland for over a decade. And set down some roots, got married, got a kid, did doing graphic design actively, involved in a lot of NGOs and a lot of community programs out there. If you guys heard of VXG, I was involved in that also. And now the new gaming group that is coming up, FTW. NGOs like 4C Foundation, where we're trying to link technology and education together on St. Martin and all of that good stuff. St. Martin was buzzing. And then Irma hit. So now, going back to St. Martin very soon to try and continue with that. So that's the track I am right now.
So you mentioned Irma, that was the reason you came back to Holland and stuff. And
yeah. Came back to get some stability while St. Martin was recouping. I got a wife and a kid now, so I had to think about them first. But now everything is a bit more responsibility.
Being an adult,
doing that adult thing self. So now it's time to go back and see if we can build up from where we left off.
So what you had actually studied when you was up here?
When I came here, I studied grafisch vormgeving, which is graphic design. Okay. Basically.
Okay, and then that was the actual yes, because you say you was up here for 10 years. Like, you had taken the whole 10 years, or like you had stopped?
No. I actually started in information technology because again, coming from St. Martin, before we had reached Europe, back then we didn't know too much about what the possibilities were. So everybody was thinking, computers is the big thing. That was just when the .com bubble had actually burst, and everybody was like, websites, internet, computers. So that was the way to go. Came up, studied that for a bit, did that for 3 years, realized that is not really my niche. Because like man getting opdracht to come home and do programming and stuff, but I'm sitting down behind a paint and Photoshop and I'm doing that more than I'm doing my schoolwork. I realize there's something wrong. Maybe I should focus on what I like instead of what I think will be successful in the future. And so I got into that. I transitioned from there into the Media Academy in Amsterdam. And from there, the world became a whole lot simpler to me. Graphics is basically colors and shapes and structure. And I like that.
Oh, you're artistic people, boy.
Yep.
I see that get a headache.
Because I could definitely relate to that story and stuff. Because IT was also the first thing that I did before all I switched and whatnot. With a similar thought being like, I know that I was interested in computers. I like working on computers, so it's like, why not study the thing that's centered around computers? But then is exactly what you said. I was never the amount of programming that they wanted you to be doing in your free time. Like that really had to be some. If programming was not something that you were passionate about, like
you needed to be passionate about.
You doing this in your free time, like a hobby type of thing, and that was
You'll
it was interesting.
You'll get
interesting, but
quickly.
for me, it just wasn't interesting enough to be like I'm not doing this in my free time, outside of a school scenario. I'm not doing this stuff.
I can understand that.
Exactly. So I did the graphics thing. And it was good. Unfortunately, I'm going to tell you the truth. I didn't complete it to the end. My last year, due to...
not your last year, man.
Due to living arrangements. Yep. I had to leave the school. But again, man don't stay still, though. From there, it was just another venture. Jumped on to the whole, what's it called, call center work. And from there, started to meet with people, started to network with people, launched a clothing line in the process, did a couple of, stuff for embassies and such. I kept busy in the graphics, and you realize later on that experience counts just as much as a diploma. For instance.
But I personally would say
discipline.
more. I would personally say more, but I mean, I currently still going back for that diploma.
No, definitely, it's definitely a must do. I have a partner of mine too right now. He's about my age too. For the longest while, he's been running a computer network in one of Holland's main hospitals, in Utrecht. He's been running that whole network, but he's just only now finishing up his actual study for it. But years, he just invested his time, and because it's his passion. Computers is his passion, networking is his passion. And he dominated that without the diploma, and now he's going back to get the diploma to go to a higher level, I guess.
I don't buy... If that's his passion like that, I don't think he'll necessarily go to a higher level just because of the diploma. He'll just get paid for it.
Yeah, he'll just get paid more.
It's just so that I'm certified in this field.
Exactly. It's just to quell all the different questions, You'd be like, oh, how come he can do this? Here's the paper. Yeah, that's all the paper do. It'll shut everybody else up.
Yeah. That's like. But anyway, I'm not going to sound negative about education on this episode.
But from there,
don't mean necessarily. I'm sounding negative about education. It's just to show that, because to me, I feel like an example like this, somebody with a story like Piet, is important to give people that other perspective to be like, okay, just because you didn't meet the demands of that society expects of you to go to school, get a degree, follow like the traditional path or whatever,
don't mean
because maybe it took a bit more time.
World, like there's other part.
You can still succeed in
almost every episode so far since like September. I've been coming on and like bitching about school. So I tried to set a different precedent for.
But the problem is the terminology, really, because a lot of people believe when you talk about education, you're talking about going to school. Education does not only happen in school.
That's true.
Education is basically a combination of all your experiences.
Yeah, but school has traumatized us. That's a problem. That's a problem. School has traumatized man.
We could go into that, because the school system was made for a whole different reason than what we're thinking.
That's true. No.
Creation of factory workers. I was designed in a different era.
Reel back in a little bit more.
Okay.
What are you doing right now, self then, Pete?
Okay, right now, as of yesterday or as of today, I'm officially unemployed. But
I like how to set up with that.
But what that does now, that gives me free time to explore the more creative ends and the more social ends, because like I said, I am involved in a lot of different volunteer NGO based projects, and I'm going back to St. Martin now to push that forward again. And one of the projects that I am personally involved with is creating a social video platform for the island, for St. Martin. And that's right now my passion.
So how you plan on it being, or like what was your vision for it so far?
Let me start off on how it started actually, because that will give you a better idea of what I'm trying to achieve with it. The thing is, I, as most of us are, we're a lot focused on Samaritan issues. One of the more prevalent Samaritan issues is the dump. For me, it's personally the salt pond, because the pond used to be Samaritan's lifeline, still is and still can be, I believe. But we didn't get to the dump, because the dump is what is causing that to not be used or effective right now. While living in Samaritan from 2011 to 2017, there's been a lot of initiatives, a lot of people attempting to tackle that issue, tackle that situation. But it's a lot of talk. It's a lot of talk, minimum participation, and a lot less know-how. The know-how comes from the fact that, people believe that, okay, they got money, they got schooling, they got technology, they can fix it. Whoever they is, you fill in the blanks for yourself. But that's how a lot of people believe. A lot of people believe that the solutions doesn't come from ourselves. Are not supposed to come from ourselves. It's supposed to come from either government or from the Dutch or from whoever it is who involved, Nature Foundation, all these people who involved on a more capacity level. But when looking at that now, when I saw that, I was like, hey, but isn't there more that we can do? So I tried to be part of that. I tried to be, part of the organizations that say, hey, we're going to come in, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do that, we're going to do that. But what you realize is a lot of them, they're coming in with the same formula. Okay, they'll bring the technology, they'll bring the money, they'll bring the apparatuses and stuff, but they're not bringing the manpower. They're not bringing the education. They're not bringing the communication. So basically, you got this bubble coming in, or you got this company coming into your country, and it's going to set up whatever it has to set up. But when that company goes, the initiative dies. That's usually what's been happening. So we figure, you know what? How do we tackle this? How do we get around this? How do we get people more involved, more educated? And all you got to do really is realize that people need to see themselves in the results of what they're doing. So people need to be able to see from a bigger picture perspective. This is Samaritan.
But you mean like they have to see how it benefits them, or
they gotta see what it is they're losing, they gotta see what it is they have, and they gotta see what it is the possibilities are. And all of this is possible, but it's not being pushed. All of this, we have talented people, we have creative people, we have smart people, we have rich people, we have all these people doing different things in their little corner of Samaritan, but none of it is being centralized, none of it is being presented to Samaritan. Let's say, for instance, you got a rapper, or you got entertainer basically, and he makes it big on YouTube, he makes it big in Holland, he makes it big wherever. You don't really hear about that on Samaritan. It's not really, it's not really glorified, or it's not really brought to the forefront as, hey, this is a great example. Our children should follow this example. That's not being done. So basically what we thought of, hey, what's the new means of communication? What's the current means of communication? It's video. Everybody consumes video like crazy. No matter if it's just, a couple scrolls on YouTube, a couple scrolls on Facebook, here, there, wherever. Once you have social media, once you have internet, once you have a communication device, smartphone, you're tapping into video. Most of the time, you're just scrolling and waiting for that video, consuming that video. People read too. I'm gonna lie, people do read, but people mostly take in videos, no matter what, from tutorials, from entertainment, from movies, podcasts, documentaries, you name it. Video is how we consume our information nowadays. So we thought, how about we just take all Samaritan-based video content and put it one place so Samaritan can find it. No longer you have to go to YouTube and be like, okay, let me type in Samaritan, let me type in Samaritan bikers, or let me type in Samaritan agriculture. No, you go to this one platform and you have everything structured, put in place for you. And if you don't find what you want, you see something else from Samaritan. And that way you keep your people, Samaritan-centric, focused on the goal. People tend to get distracted too quick from all these different, bubbles that are happening. Okay, so
maybe just to compare to something that's already out there, you trying to be like a Samaritan version of World Star? Or you try to go in that direction? Or like you trying to not have that whole stamp on it either? Or how?
That is World Star. World Star in itself is a formula that that came about because or based on a particular structure that they were trying to achieve at the time, which is, I guess, a hype. They were trying to achieve a hype.
Okay.
And it picked up, and that is what people respond to. People respond to a lot of World Star stuff, World Star type stuff. But what we realized is, St. Martin, you got enough of that. You got all the school fights and the politics and the.
But you see, that's why I make that reference, because my next question would have been, how biased would you be, or would y'all be, when it comes to what kind of videos are actually being shared?
Extremely. The thing is, you can't be, we can't no longer be apologetic for trying to be positive. You can't be positive. You can't say you want to do something positive and then later on, okay, because it's you, no problem, we're going to leave it there. No, you got to be strict about it. In order for actual change to happen, you got to really be dedicated to that particular change that you want to see happen.
Okay, so no school fights.
No school fights. No political discourse. You want to get all of that, go on Facebook. No, what else? No he say, she say. No, it's got to be, or content that is, well, we got to vet the content for sure. Mm-hmm. We gotta then moderate the content, because it's a couple of them going to sneak in. And then we got to make sure that it's factual, it's accurate. So it's a big job in the background, but on the foreground, all we asking people is, highlight something that you think is positive, put it on this platform, and you'll see that St. Martin will then, or once it gets a buzz, you'll see St. Martin will have something of substance to present to itself and eventually to the world, because we're not the only one who going to be watching it.
And that's my other question. That would have been my next question as well. You planning on just keeping it to St. Martin, or eventually, depending on the success level, branching out to the rest of the islands?
Well, right now the field is St. Martin. St. Martin is what we know. St. Martin is where we grew up on, and that's where we want to see the change happen. Of course, we realize from the get-go that this is not just limited to St. Martin. St. Martin problems ain't just only happening in St. Martin. There's a lot of similar things happening in different islands, different countries, in the region itself. So the issues, or the positiveness that we're trying to highlight, is positiveness that can be taken to different islands, can be taken to different countries, different facets of the world. People abroad can benefit from the insights that we have on our issues, from the positive perspectives that we take based on the issues that we are presented with. And yeah, if it eventually goes that route, we're going to take it there.
Okay.
The only thing that I'm kind of thinking about is that having the criteria and stuff that you just mentioned, I worry that might negatively affect the engagement of the people if they feel that it's like too many hurdles or too many things that I have to too much certain type of criteria that I have to meet. If it's like too high of a standard,
too much restrictions. But
it might limit the total amount of people's. Because there is certain people that do produce content that might be far more in line of like a world star-ish, I guess, and be like, well, so obviously I'm just not represented, and then it becomes okay, we bad talking, because especially being kind of dangerous having you here talking about it, being like, okay, so this is the person that's saying my shit ain't no good. That's just my kind of worry.
You see, and that's the reason why we're trying to start with St. Martin, because we want to put the home base for this entire structure, this entire platform.
Fubu.
Yeah, for us, by us, we want to make the home base St. Martin itself. So if you have content that you think, you know what, this doesn't really fit with you guys, or this doesn't fit with what you guys trying to promote, it's not a problem. You come to us, you talk to us, we'll work it out, because there's no idea that is pushed forward that is done well. Okay, I can't say that. That's kind of bad. Okay, most of the ideas that are pushed forward, that people dare to present to their friends, to the world, to whoever has a positive what's the word I'm looking for? Aspect to it. Nobody don't come out there and be like, yo, you want to hear shit? This is some shit. And there's just, oh shit, can I say that? Yeah. And then, come with some retardedness. No, people try to actually genuinely engage their friends, their community, their audience with positivity. That's inherent. That's within us. We do that every day, but we don't feel that this positivity is enough to present to the world. That's the problem. It has little ideas. I can get a really stupid example. Just experienced it yesterday. I'm leaving work. This is my last day at work, and this young lady comes and she sticks a blank sticker on my back. She says, "Yeah, this is a parting gift for you." It's like, okay, she meant it as funny, as fun and stuff like that. I said, okay, cool, no problem. You have a pen? Give me that pen. Okay, I walk around to all my colleagues and be like, okay, I'm leaving. There's this stick on my back. I'll sign my back, And then we take a selfie afterwards, and everybody laughs and stuff. Simple ideas, simple intentions that people present. They present it with the means or with the they want it to be fun. They want it to be engaging. They want it to be positive, no matter what they do, even with teasing, even with bullying. Eventually, when you break it down, people just want to connect. People just want to communicate. And we're trying to extract all of that. I know it's controversial. It's very controversial.
We might grow up in Ebenezer though. We might used to roast each other for fun.
Exactly. It's all meant for fun. But if you can really pull out the substance out of it.
You really think Ebron and Nicholas used to fucking be going at each other to get a connection? You really think so? Sit down and think about this.
At the end of the day, they ain't stronger friends because of it.
Babe, okay. Maybe.
So now if you can extrapolate that core essence of that positivity.
Look how we promoted bullying.
I know it was the wrong example that you might have.
No, I feel you.
But that's what I'm trying to say. If we have a platform that pretty much, you just present whatever positive idea, it can be minuscule, it can be huge, it can be grandeur. We'll put it up there. We'll, analyze it with you. We'll help you develop it even further. Like right now, so there's a podcast, or there's a segment that's coming up where this girl, she goes around to different restaurants and she just eats. She's like, okay, this one looks interesting. I never had this before. Let me record, this experience.
My sister kind of doing that too now, actually too.
Yeah, and these are simple things that it brings people delight to see these experiences, to partake in this. But it's stuff that we don't put out there because we feel, you just promoting eating, die nothing good. No, all of this will inspire value. Somebody. It will, yeah, exactly. It has value, and especially the way the world is changing right now, the way the content structure of the internet is right now. Yo, you gotta hold on to your own content. It's gonna be very valuable very soon. So we believe that, with our platform we can help consolidate all that information, help consolidate all that positivity, and hopefully, we can squash the haters and the naysayers and the people who don't believe in active positive change. That's the point.
For people that might be interested in this idea and everything that you hear talking about, the platform that you're trying to create, how would they go about getting involved? Is it just something that's strictly one-sided, that you would be out there looking for people, or if they interested and hear about it, they reach out to you?
Well, right now itself, I would tell people, if you feel that you have something to present to the world, work on it, conceptualize. If you want to record from now, but the point is for you to have content, or at least have a structure. If you can't do it yourself, there are more than enough people on the island with the know-how who are willing to collaborate. You just got to reach out. Even if it's just me, you can reach out to me and I will get you, connected with other people also. But you just have to be willing to reach out and put your stuff out there.
And aside from, I guess, the content of the content,
the content,
is there anything in terms of length or how much stuff or those type of things for people to know?
So criteria. Is there a more specific set of criteria?
Well, right now, again, the platform that we're developing is rather new. It's young. It's only a few months old. So there are a lot of bugs that we're working out. But what we realize is, when it comes to whatever information, whatever content you want to bring out there, what you should restrict yourself to, because people nowadays have a very low attention span. You should try to stay within the segment of about, let me say, 5 minutes to 15 minutes, optimally. If you want to go longer, half an hour to an hour, that's really no problem. I would suggest, you break that up. That's my personal suggestion. But optimally, people consume on the internet. It's been proven. It's a formula for it. People consume videos within 5 to 15 minutes a lot more easier and a lot more quicker, and they retain that information than they would, for instance, watching a whole half an hour, 45 minutes, hour long.
So then, how you feel about
the podcast? Definitely not the podcast.
Well, no, not necessarily the link, not necessarily the link up specifically, but just podcast in general.
Podcast is a whole different creature, though. I do believe that because of the dynamic nature of the topics. So you guys, you can go from topic to topic to topic. You don't have to really stay within a particular, topic, basically. That keeps people engaged. Every once in a while you switch up gears, you set the tone a bit differently. That also keeps people engaged. So it's a whole formula to video presentations, the whole formula to keep the people engaged. That you just have to look into it a bit more deeper. Think for yourself. How would you best receive particular information, and then go from there.
Because that's something too we've been, you can say, trifling about on the link up, the duration, and if like we really should consider going shorter, because we know everybody attention span not really, because people like us who are actually doing it, we just look at podcasts.
Yeah. So
sitting down and watching something for like an hour and change, that ain't really nothing for us. But like for people who are not accustomed to that, like you say, like the short 5, 10, 15-minute clips.
People that maybe use the Instagram and Vine and those platforms that's 15 seconds and 7 seconds.
Yeah, so like how would you get those to keep? How would you advise those who consider doing other podcasts to get those involved, and us as well?
Yeah, definitely. Well, a definite surefire formula that I've seen on YouTube, for instance, is that you record for as long as you want, whatever content, whatever topic you want, and then you slice that up, because a conversation does not continuously go in one rhythm. It goes up, down, flows. It comes around the subject or the topic, and then it comes back to the main topic. It veers off every once in a while. So if you just slice that up a bit, you present your whole concept to the world, but eventually you slice that up in different topics or different areas, different segments, and then you spoon feed people. That's usually how they do it. You check it out, for instance, with Comedy Central. Comedy Central does that with almost all of their content. They have our base programs and such, but then you go on YouTube, you have like 3-minute snippets here, 5-minute snippets there, 8 minutes. CNN does the same thing. The news does the same thing. They take their entire hour-long segment, and then they just split it up in different topics, themes, whatever they covered at the time, and then spoon feed it to people, because nobody really got time to just sit down and consume hours worth of content.
But then, what kind of content you actually expecting to get from Samaritan people?
Believe it or not, I wasn't really expecting anything. I was hopeful that there were some inspirational type of people out there, and some really conscious type of people out there. I haven't found that particularly yet, but what I've found is there's a lot of passionate people out there. There's a lot of driven people out there, and regardless what they're doing, when they do it with passion, it's something that you actively want to follow, engage in, participate in. I'll give you one example. There's a guy from Samaritan, and he did something that I thought, what? Why would I do that? But when I saw that he went and take up the challenge, I was like, oh my God, that sounds so amazing. And I live in here so much years, and I never bothered to go try this. This guy took one day, 8 hours, and visit all 37 beaches on Samaritan and record that. Take a dip in all 37 beaches within 24 hours. That's inspirational to get that done, because I don't know how to reach half of those beaches.
Big man, I must have went to 8.
Exactly. In your whole life. And he did that this year. That this year. It's craziness. And it's like, wow, I live in here so much years, and why I didn't know about that beach. Why I didn't know about that beach. Exactly. Samaritan got some secluded beaches, and you don't even know how to reach there. This guy took it upon himself, mapped out all of this, documented it, recorded it. It's not like Hollywood type production, but
it's useful information. That could be used for the locals and for the tourists.
Exactly. Right now, what he's doing is he's finding new and creating new bike trails for bikers on Samaritan.
Okay.
People who don't want to ride on the road. You want to explore nature a bit.
Risk your life.
Exactly. He's finding new bike trails on Samaritan, and hopefully putting them on a map, so that bike tourism is a thing now. And people come to Samaritan to bike. So hey,
they come to our island to see the nature, not to see a whole bunch of roads and buildings.
Exactly.
But that's a whole other conversation.
There's also, I'll give you one more example. There's also this lady, and this is something that a lot of people I know have been talking about, but they never actively do. This teacher, this lagere school teacher, and she decided, our kids don't have enough information about their own history. Samaritan children don't know much about their own history.
We was talking about that last week.
So you know what she did? She took it upon herself. She don't know nothing about podcasting, video casting, or anything like that. And she grabbed her phone, and she went to different old teachers that she know, and she sat down and she asked them just simple, poignant questions about, hey, how was Samaritan back then in regards to this? How was Samaritan back then in regards to that? And the amount of information that come from these individual people is or the type of information is golden, man. It's gems. It's stuff that can fill history books, but nobody in documenting.
I want to watch those. I can't even lie. Me personally, just like Samoan history is one of those things that I always felt that I knew severely, like way too little about. In terms, like, if I looked at how much I learned from the actual school system, how much school taught me about Samoan history is like, in elementary school, I remember learning stuff about Columbus discovering Samoan. And I mean, how valuable is that information?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, looking back later in life.
Exactly.
As you learn the truth about certain things.
At least you had some kind of information, whether it was true or not.
He went in the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria was the 3 ships or whatever that he took and sailed in 16. I forget. I remember, I can get this wrong again because I remember we brought it up. I think it was like on a Simon's Day or something.
Ain't a song?
1642 or 1692 or 93 or 40. I know it was either 42, 43 or 92 or 93.
1692.
One of them.
He
sailed the ocean blue. So it's the one with the 2.
Yeah, I think it's 2.
The nuance there, according to me, is like that was his first voyage, and I think it was the second voyage when he came back the year later in 93 that he discovered St. Martin. If I remember that correctly, that could be wrong, just as wrong. But
yep,
this is exactly why
like fact checking.
This is exactly why we want to hear them stories because it started. Because especially me, I mean, King went, or you went EPC, so you had a little bit more of a.
And I learned about World War
II. It wasn't much, but you had a little bit more of a local aspect to it.
That's what you would think.
Well,
that's what you would hope for.
Well, put it this way:
you learn about this Dutch history
compared to what we did in the private schools, it was a whole lot more.
But then when I have conversations with wife and I hear about what was going on in St. Dominic, it makes me feel like St. Dominic is the only school I would send my child to.
Yep.
The way where they actually had a Caribbean history class in school. I'm like, but this is amazing. How do you even know this? Like the information that they got, even though there was issues with that and certain teachers not necessarily feeling the value in it and discouraging people from taking the Caribbean history class and stuff like that, which is terrible all on its own. I mean, because it goes back to what you were saying about. To me, the main thing is how can you create people that want to help the island, that want to change it, that if people don't know it, if people don't have nothing to take pride in about it, if you just see it as like this, just what it is and ain't nothing really valuable about it, why would you?
Yeah.
You wouldn't feel connected to it if you don't know nothing about it.
That is exactly it. If you don't know it, you don't feel connected to it and you can't extract that pride, which is, for a long time, I've been walking around saying that St. Martiners, that they have a lot of pride, no problem, cool. But it's misplaced pride. It's pride in the wrong things. It's pride in what they see from external and feel, you know what, they can have this. They're supposed to have this. No, you have to have pride in your people, in yourself, and you know what you yourself can create and structure. And we want to highlight that, and hopefully, you know, get people to place their pride in more sustainable personal aspects for the community, not just for themselves.
So are you looking to have people recreating the same things they're doing in America and all them sort of videos? You're looking for more culture-based something, or
the problem is with internet, with video, how do we put it? New ideas, there are pretty much no new ideas. Everything is basically a rehash of the old. Okay. But we've forgotten so much of the old that so much seems new again. So basically, you know, if you can take something and make it your own, it's no problem. We don't find it a problem. I personally have no issue with copywriting as long as, again, you add to it and make it your own. If you want to decide, okay, I'm gonna make a love and hip hop on St. Martin. No, you can't do that. Somebody already did that. You Jack. Come with something original. Come with, you know.
Because I ain't gonna lie, them like random street, not random, but like the street questions, and then the people asking people random questions on the street and stuff. That's cool. I find that would be interesting something for Sebastian, but then bad at the same time.
Somebody like Andrew or Devondre, because I feel like this shows kind of already give me those type of vibes. Ain't necessarily exactly that, but more Devondre than Andrew.
Yeah, but the thing is, I still find Devondre, shout out the brother.
Yep.
He's still a little bit more professional. So what I mean the street ones, I don't know if you remember those on World Star Self. There's a panel used to go around asking Americans the questions. The street, the quote unquote logical question. I find something like that if like somebody on the youngest,
go well or terrible.
Yeah, but
like this, man, people need to realize that they're lacking this much information on whatever topic it might be.
Yes, because the government needs to go.
You can't be apologetic about positivity, man. You got to start somewhere and just push from there.
But not only, but like
the debate comes is that positivity.
But then like
the same
what
how
people
many
say.
people is argue like the stuff that maybe me and Kana when we talking politics and what are going wrong to man. There's many people would be like, yo, Samantha doesn't need that. We don't need y'all out there spreading all this negativity.
Yeah, but it depends.
Even though it may be factual.
But it depends.
That's what I mean. It's like how do you view it as what is positive?
But you see, that's the thing. Is like what Piet was saying. It depends on how you choose to twist it, or what you choose to get from it. Because like the example he was giving with the bullying, he showed like that's a connection something. So then if we can show that obviously we lacking a lot of basic information, that could be a whole revamp of the education system. But that could be something for government to actually look into. But if you still having and this is going into a conversation we've been having on this show, is that if you're going to stay with the same old heads in the same position doing the same thing, there's going to be no progress. There's going to be no innovation, and it's just going to be the same crap over and over again. We're going to have one government every 2 years.
Yep, that's exactly it. The thing is, when you present people with, again, this platform is supposed to be like a mirror for somebody.
6 months.
when you present people with a mirror of themselves, regardless how they look, again, it might seem not positive at the time. They might look like druggies or whatever it is, but you give them the opportunity to actually analyze and move forward from there. It's like you have to give people the facts, the situation as it is raw, regardless if it's, like I say, bullying or anything like that. You have to give them the facts in order for them to actually move forward. Because if you keep hiding it, you're going to just stay in the same old circle, the same old cycle. And that's what you're trying to break.
But a great example of that is like sports. For example, like the need to watch game for look back at how you're actually playing, because in the moment you feel like, okay, I'm doing this, but your coach telling you, yo, you're too far, whatever it might be and stuff, you doing this and that correct. If you don't see what the coach is seeing, you think you're doing something correct. It's like you need that ability.
Yeah, but that I find something like that is a little bit more personal, because if you could find somebody to have the time and have some and it's time with something like that's concerned, I feel at least it's time and dedication, like what people were saying earlier, because we have the structure, we have the capabilities of doing stuff like that. It is like if the coach is not going to take it upon himself to be like, yo, cool, I gonna bring a camera, or I gonna choose my nephew or my niece or somebody or a friend.
That's not what I mean. It just mean using that as an analogy. The man say it's like a mirror. You need to see yourself so that you can actually correct, because you think you're doing stuff right. Like as a people in Samatu, we might think we're doing things okay, but until that mirror is put up to you, where it's like, yo, this is the reality. This is the way Saman people are. If this is the way the youth talk, for example, if you have vloggers or something like that, the language that they may use, it may be what certain people consider rude or whatever, but if this is just the reality of what it is. And
so now you put the ball in their court. What do you do now? Do you stay with the same old, or do you change? Do you adjust? And that's what we're trying to foster. We're trying to foster that change in people. And the only way you can do that is by, again, holding up that mirror. This is you. Do you like you? No? Then let's change you. Simple as that.
And that's one of the things where I feel like it still kind of comes back to one of the things I asked you earlier, where it's like with regarding the criteria and people feeling maybe it's censor or whatever, and certain types of things not being up there. Because,
and as I was asking too, what kind of content they really looking for?
You got to think about it. You
got to kind of be unfiltered for that to truly work.
I feel what you guys are hinting at is that there's not enough positivity. Trust me, there's more than enough positivity.
Not
I ain't saying that, but I just mean like, depending certain things might be like, it all depends on how you look at it, and it depends on who is the person. I feel like the main thing is there need to be like a clear criteria, like certain guidelines or whatever laid out, so that people who using the platform understand what's the general idea, so that they can't say, okay, they're being censored or whatever, or like anything like that, or that they just, it's just, I mean, it's something that we know on Saman is about who you know, who you like, this type of thing, and that's the reason my stuff ain't being put on it or that kind of stuff. To avoid any of that kind of things, it needs to be a somewhat impartial and see like, okay, in the way that the policy is being administered, it seems fair. It's not like any discrepancies where it's like, okay, it's saying that they want this type of content, we present this type of content, and then it's still in there. Like,
you have
it's tough. It's tricky. It's tough, but I still feel it's manageable because again, if we can keep, again, there's so much different platforms similar on the internet, and if you feel that our platform does not cater to your substance, you go somewhere else. You go YouTube. YouTube is always accessible. YouTube accepts everything.
But and as I was thinking too, like for somebody who wants to say them platform not thinking, put your shit on YouTube.
Yep. The thing is, it's a sharing platform. It's not like we're restricting anybody from using other platforms either. You know, exactly. we're not giving you exclusive. Yeah, exactly. You're not either here or you're nowhere else. Exactly. You come here and we just add to your story. We add to your viewership. We want to help add to your content. We want to take your content and be like, okay, only here you can play this. If you play it anywhere else, no, you're going down. Nah, that's not what we're trying to do. We're just trying to promote a more easier, accessible, semantic-centric view, basically.
You in any talks or have any communication with anybody in government regarding this project?
Not yet. The reason why is a simple reason. Again, I'm involved with a lot of NGOs on the island, which is again non-government organizations. And when you start to mix the NGOs and also non-profit, when you start to mix the NGOs with the government entities, then profit becomes a question mark. Is this will this get us money? Will this do this for us? Will this do that for us? It's not about that yet. When we know for sure that this formula, regardless of whoever participates and stuff, will get a kickback, then we're willing to open it up to all entities. But for now, it's about the people. It's about the connectivity. It's about the social aspect, the social healing that we feel is needed.
I guess maybe I'm more thinking on it in a long run because Samati is a small community.
Yeah.
If government gets involved in something like that, or not necessarily, let's not say get involved with the project itself, but just looks at the content, especially when it comes to podcasts like our own. I don't know if you saw the other two podcasts that came up from Samati.
Before we started, God, I was telling you about it. So.
Well, you should go check them out because not only is it other conversations happening in different ways. If you necessarily don't like the link up, you can go to another source of information, another thing. You can go check so if you're a female, if you're a girl, and you relate more to the let her finish, you go and consume that. Or if you have more relation to
it shows the many different facets and personalities and all the different flavors that even though we are one culture, one island, they got many different variations.
And not everybody gonna want to agree or want to listen to me and King talk for hour and change. But the same thing goes vice versa for the other two shows.
Somebody might want a longer show and they come watch us or something.
But St. Martin content still being put out there. And the thing is, we at that age now, we becoming the ones that are going to be in, the ones that just get into government, the ones that just get into these the younger ones that these older heads want to come back and run St. Martin. So we are the ones that are going to have those specific powers in some place and time. So if you're not listening to the public, and this is the public speaking, then what are you doing there in government?
That's the age-old question, because I wanted to say it earlier too. Is you have a lot of people in government, and this has been the narrative for the longest while. Oh, we're doing the people walk.
Bullshit.
Tell me how they know what the people want.
Bullshit. Straight up bullshit, Chad.
Hey, Jack. How do you distinguish what is the people's work, and how do I verify that what you're saying is factual? I mean, you could have 50 people in the corner saying, okay, yeah, we need a road here, but you can have 20 people on that side saying, no, that road is going to fuck up my garden or something like that. Hey, Jack. The people walk is not based on only who you hear. The people walk is based on what's beneficial for the collective, and that's why a lot of people
as many as possible. And that's the problem. Commander go down there for family and friends. People, I say this before too. What people don't understand when it gets to something like politics, when you say in St. Martin, You mean the whole island, or let's say Dudside.
You mean the whole,
You mean the whole Dudside. You also mean the panel you slapped off last week, the other panel who bent your woman a couple years ago. You mean everybody? Yo, everybody.
It's true.
Everybody is included in that. So if you're not really down for everybody, don't put yourself in that position. That's my standpoint personally. Because it don't make sense. There's never going to be any progress if you only think of that side.
That's unrealistic to some degree. It's a great. That should be the ideal. That's like the ideal goal.
The greatest of whatever plan or decision you make is supposed to benefit the greatest amount of people possible. Realistically, you're not going to reach everybody,
because there's always that point that there's always certain
somebody
going to have conflicting views with like this one want this and this one saying the exact opposite.
Somebody gonna be upset. Somebody gonna be upset with it. But if whatever you're doing benefiting at least 60% of the whole population, that can't be a bad something.
Yeah, but how do you know about that 60%? And that's the next problem. The next problem is, again, or the same problem actually, but from a different aspect. We're not managing data. We're not managing content. We're not taking statistics about all these other things.
Not only is that a problem like within governance itself in St. Martin, but also students that want to take on problems with with innovative ideas, but then don't have the research or don't have the numbers to practically do that research and come up with practical ways in order to, for instance, like the dump. Again, like we was bringing up. I
think that problem comes back to what I was saying earlier before we started recording. Is lack of resources, but not necessarily just like financial resources. The fact that we have a small population of people. When you have that small of a population, is like, okay, so now split that to how many people actually go away to college to get the knowledge and stuff like that, develop the research skills to be those type of people that could write these papers and things that we have so that we can make informed decisions. But already is a small population, the amount of people that go away to college. Then how many people of those people that go away to college want to come back to Sonata? And that's even smaller. That's an even smaller percentage of that already small percentage of people that have a tertiary education.
But then let's go back on what Pete was saying. Then this is okay, cool. This is the mirror. This is the facts we have. But what we can actually change is the initiative, or not initiative, but the incentive of the young ones coming back. If the old ones had actually a structure or a system set up, or the young ones that they
I personally feel is an even better idea is making sure that USM seems like a viable option. It seems that's something that they actually want to do. It's a place where they're educate, or they'll not only get a valuable education, but it seems like there's choices and stuff that they actually want to study. I know that'll always be difficult because of the same problem I mentioned when you look at the amount of people, the population size, where you can find teachers in all these millions of different fields, and is it even feasible if you only got one student who's showing up for this specific class that might be a little unconventional and random, whatever it might be.
But you see that's why
these things come down to population.
I'm not necessarily thinking on USM, because that one student who they might not give the funding for, because that one student come up Holland or come to the States, get a proper education, get a proper thing, and if they make it think, that same one student could come back and change the island.
It can. It's possible.
You see, and that's why.
But they need to be presented to the island. You need a mode of transportation to push this to everybody, so people can see that it is happening. And this isn't what we have right now, because we have Devondre and Andrew Dick doing their thing, the pushing the video waves and stuff. That's great, but the media is predominantly politics, predominantly bad news, predominantly issues, fighting with Dutch, this and that. It's a bunch of drama. We focus too much on the drama. We're not focused on the possibilities, the solutions,
that's why I really like 100% for and backing the fact that these other two podcasts, and I hope more come out, because it's going to show the voice of the youth of St. Martin.
Yep, definitely.
We need the different conversations, how weak, I just hope it goes to more actual action.
When you see the voices come together, you realize that they're resonating in one direction, and you realize how apart from the people the government actually is.
Yes,
the government actually is, because it's crazy. It's crazy. The thing coming back to the mirror analogy. This is the thing. You wake up in the morning, you go in front of a mirror, you check yourself. What do? You don't, some people, of course, they have it all planned out and structured. This is what they're going to wear. But other people, what they do? Okay, they try on this tie, that don't work. Okay, they try on this, that don't work. You know, we are afraid as a society to fail, which is why we're not trying anything.
Because we given this stigma that if you fail, that means you don't go no more. Like you think.
But think about this, how much people we have living on the island right now that graduate, everything they need to graduate, ain't got no job. Ain't doing nothing. What, they succeeded perfectly. They ain't had no hiccups, no hampers, nothing. But then you realize there's a lot of people also that didn't graduate, didn't go the straight route, didn't do that. But they are, for some reason, they are much more ahead because what? They failed and they had to learn more. They got pushed back and they had to push harder. They got, failure is not the end, Failure is just a hurdle. You have to overcome that and become stronger.
I find there's two distinct things when it comes to that failure. Failure in school and failure in life. Mm-hmm. To me is a different different
what is failure in life?
Well, let me not say
you don't fail until you're there.
Let me be more specific. Failure in a certain part. Let's say you don't get that job or you don't get that something else apart from school. That to me is more practical of a lesson. Then you can be like, okay, cool. This didn't work, maybe because this and that. Bam, you react. True. You go check it again. School now, they might make you feel they might legit could change your life or impact your life in a negative way just because you failed an exam. Yep. You mean to tell me I got friends out there that just because they didn't make they missing 2 credits or they missing a 0.5, they have to change their whole uploading. That means they have to stay here a whole another 2 years. That means they have more money to pay back.
But you know why that is, right? Because they've seen the ones before them and they were like, oh shit, I'm not like them. I'm not as good as them. They don't have that verbeelding van, or they don't have that knowledge of, you know what? Okay, when we fail, we can recoup ourselves and we can try again, or we can do again. They don't have that example. It comes back to, you know what? They're not seeing what the actual people are doing. But they're only hearing about, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that. They're hearing about the ideal structures, but that's not how life really works. There's a lot of people that fail constantly.
But you see, but that's the reference I make it, because with school is like again maybe this is just me personally. I find once you fit it, it's the system itself, the beat you down. Yep. If you yourself can't, I mean, it might relate also to outside of school, but if you yourself don't go and pick up yourself and be like, yeah, especially in this Dutch system, like, yeah, I going to do this, or I got to do this, or you gotta go and email this teacher 1,000 times, or go look for a tutor, or go look for something else. You going to not go nowhere.
Yep.
Whereas on the other side, outside of school, there's no box. There's no, oh yeah, you have this criteria, you're getting grade on this, you're getting that, and bam, 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 bam. You have to set this. Outside of school, it's like, yo, okay, cool, this don't work. But I could go to another country, do the same thing, and then make it over there. Or I could just switch something here, check a YouTube video or somehow else, somebody else going on in life, and check that there.
But to me, that goes back to another thing I touched on earlier. What is the intent of school? What is the purpose of school? What types of... There are certain things to help weed out a certain type of people, so that only a certain type of people is who graduate, the people that are able to meet all these requirements and stuff. What type of person does that produce? Is that person necessarily the person that is going to be the super out of the box creative, that, I don't know, thinking differently and challenging everything? That's not necessarily the person that, to me, at least, school creates, because at least up until a certain degree, college is a little different compared to elementary and high school,
depending on your study and all that kind of thing. So okay, I see what you mean.
It's still like, if you're able to meet all these requirements, that mean, okay, you can handle a certain amount of stress, you can get this paper finished by this amount of time, you could read and analyze to find out what's the importance in a certain thing, to be able for you to be able to, like, when you tell you got to study a whole book and the test is on this, you don't have time to read everything, so you got to know and develop them skills to pick out, okay, this is important, this is not, all of these type of things. But there are certain people, like entrepreneurial people, who might be like, yo, I don't need all of this, because all of this is like, this is not what I want to do. The things that you're preparing me to work for somebody.
I'm sorry, I'm still never going to use the standard deviation or look for. I'm not in my feeling what I want to do in my life. I'm never going to use that shit.
Yeah, but what if what you want to do now is not what you want to do later? That's the thing. The thing is with school, the problem with school is, the problem with later schooling is that they don't come out of the formula of, you know what, okay, you have to do this. They stick in that formula. The basics, when you're young, no problem. Everybody needs the basics. But when you're older, you got to come out of this is what you have to think, and be more like, this is how you have to think. Not what. So it doesn't matter what you consume. It matters how you process. Yeah, Jack? And that's the distinction. We grow. Thank God I went to a creative school, and their lessons weren't like standardized. You didn't have to come to every class. You weren't chastised if you did. You just were required to deliver the work. Mm-hmm. Just deliver the work. However you get to that work, that's up to you. If you want to plagiarize, no problem. That's up to you. But don't get catch. That's one of the things I took away from my school. Hey, you can do whatever you like, but make it your own. Do whatever it is that you feel is necessary, but make it your own. Because, again, there are no new ideas. They're just forgotten ideas that people feel are new. But if you go back and you read back or you look back, people have been doing the same thing over and over and over. I mean,
look, in school we still get. This was 18. We getting taught concepts that was deciphered in the 60s.
Exactly, and you think that's relevant right now? The basis of it might be relevant, but the application is not. So we gotta change from thinking on this is what you have to learn to thinking this is how you have to learn. And learning right now has become a more community based thing. If I tell you before
Wikipedia is the best example of that, in my opinion.
The what?
Wikipedia to me is the best example.
Exactly.
Of that.
Wikipedia
I know it has
its free
faults and whatnot, but I mean
it's
the fact
free.
that it's just.
And it's just continuously building on it.
If you know how to use it properly, I would say.
But I just mean the aspect that Wikipedia essentially was started on, okay, you can edit it, I can edit it. If you know a little bit of this, you know a little bit of that. And then based on that, we get this whole long article that's like,
yeah,
I guess just like everything you have is good and it's bad because because
it's a negative aspect.
Yeah, but I mean but as I was going to dog on it, but you don't know if the other person actually know what they're doing in this life. But like I say, with everything there's good and bad. So
exactly, and that's where again you come into this is how you have to think.
Yeah, focusing on that is not going to be beneficial to nothing. For me, focusing on the negative part anyway.
Definitely, that goes back to what we said, and a lot of those skills about how to think. To me, those is things from my experience being in college. You learn those things in college.
Yep.
Research skills, trusting is this a reliable source, and these things, all these things that are more involved with how to think critically, how to look at things. That's what you learn in college, and that's severely lacking. What happened? Like, just think about what are the priorities of a government if you have a place that doesn't have proper tertiary education to make sure that their people learn these skills? The fact that they have to export, outsource this kind of thing if you want your people to have these skills. Like, think about
it
just tells you what the government's priorities are.
I think it's just maybe it's the testing.
The government runs as a business right now, which is sad. But again, you need that business structure to support whatever it is it wants to do. The problem is they're focusing so much on the business aspect that the actual thing that needs supporting is not being driven. That's the problem.
To me, aside from that, it's just a matter of it's easier to stay in control over uneducated people. If people are aware of how to affect change, they're a lot more likely to affect that change and do something and get these people out of here and realize, we can do better because we have that confidence, that we have that knowledge, we got all of these things that come from the degree and stuff.
So now how do we educate the people? How do we reach the people?
It's all right, we got USM, but that's one that it's already there.
A neighborhood at a time, a circle at a time.
Exactly, a group at a time. And the thing is, the beautiful part is, we as a people, we are so connected, but we don't realize it and we don't utilize it properly. That phone there, oh my God, that's the most amazing adventure ever as people. Because with that one click, and you can connect to a whole broad spectrum of information, and you can share a whole broad spectrum of information. So there's no reason that your people should be ignorant anymore because everybody got the phone.
But you see, that's my
But then is the instilling of values to decide and dictate how to use the phone, because
but still,
what they prioritize,
education is still necessary.
What they prioritize would dictate how to use the phone. If you prioritize going to the shade room and finding out who throw what glass of what on who and loving hip hop and shit like that, that's how you're going to use, and that's the information that you're going to feed your mind with, and you're gonna be up to date on everything regarding love and hip hop, but
You can lead them to the water, but you can't make them drink.
Yep.
Which is why, again, we have to, with the platform that we're developing, we have to stay strict because we can't worry about the people them who thinking, oh, we ain't good enough. We got to worry about the people who thinking, oh, we need this stuff. You check? We need more of this positivity. We want to find more of this positivity. And eventually, it's going to bleed over into the rest of society. You check? So the structure, we're personally staying strict to that structure. It's only positive. It's only Samaritan-centric. And is, yeah.
Okay, we've been talking for an hour and we lacking one crucial bit of information for the people that might be listening to this.
Which is that?
Do you have a name? Do you have a release date? Like, what's going on?
The name, I wanna keep the name a bit on a wraps right now because it kind of veers into the controversial side of one of the controversial issues on Martin. But I really proud of the name. I wish I could drop it right now. But I'll say this.
You kind of got me interested now.
I'll
say this. Controversy. I was like, okay.
Yeah, because look, okay, let me tell you how the name is based. The name based off of this concept. Who is a Samaritan? Can you answer that question? Nope. Who is a Samaritan?
Well, everybody has their opinions and their own definitions, but there is no definite.
Well, with the launch of this platform, we plan to squash that entire argument. We plan to be like, you know what? Case closed. This is Samaritan. This is a Samaritan. Case closed.
Okay,
that's it. But as for release date,
bold statement there, but
yeah. As for release date, we want to launch optimally around next October 2019. That has to do with a lot of collaborations or a lot of networking that we've been doing and collaborations that we're forming. We're now talking to a group. Sorry, we're now talking to a group that is actually based in Holland that has done a similar platform or has built a similar platform and is now branching out into South Africa, branching out into the Middle East for a bit, and doing the same thing again. Is just copy, paste, rinse, repeat. So this what we're doing right now for in a global sense, it's not new. Again, you have YouTube, you had Vine, you got WorldStar, you got all of these different video-based platforms that bring together a lot of video content. But again, with the new with the new way of thinking about internet, with the fact that Facebook getting restrictions, with the fact that a lot of people are realizing the value in their content, we realize that Samaritan needs to also put value in its own content, and it needs a place to put it, basically. So all of you who have YouTube pages, who have WorldStar pages, who have content that you put out on Facebook only, we're telling you, you know what? Develop your content. Hold on to your content tightly, because eventually Samaritan is going to have its own platform where it can, push its own narrative, where it can present its own voice to itself and to the world. And when that happens, we hope that you have something that can help foster the change that we've all been looking for the last 20, 30 years. At least. Because that's how long we've been around. Yeah. God knows the older heads have been begging for this for even longer. But again, right now we have the engine possible. We have the means. We have computers, the internet, the telephones. The technology is there at our fingertips. Are we using it? Not really. Are we using it effectively?
Are we looking? Y'all think Samaritan lacking leadership?
Samaritan is lacking.
This is a random question.
It's not lacking leadership because there are a bunch of leaders out there. Again, like we spoke about earlier, the leadership is there. It's just the direction is.
Are they good?
Exactly. The direction usually gets lost in the process. They lose sight of the ball, or they lose sight of the bigger picture, and then mismanagement happens, and then drama happens, and then the structure just crumbles. So the leadership is there.
Because why I ask that is because I hear thinking, does Samaritan need like one person to come and be like, yo, this is what we doing?
Or we need a president?
A president or dictator? What are you talking about there? That sounds kind of more like a dictator.
One might say the two are some the same. But something like that, or like the only other way would be small collectives in the community. Just like small groups of people slowly changing, whether it's their neighborhood or their thing or surroundings, and like eventually that catch on to other places. But the thing is, the amount of people got too much pride too, because if it's your idea, you're not rolling with it.
Again,
it have to be from you.
Pride. It's a lot of misplaced pride. That's the thing.
Yeah, like you were saying earlier.
I believe in your idea. I believe in your small community idea because, again, coming from Ebenezer, that is how we can make big change. We take a small group and we implement something, and if it works, then
we export it.
Exactly, we copy paste. We do it somewhere else. We take,
but not only that. We look at us. Like you said again, as an example, who grew up in Ebenezer. If you just take the main, let's say 10, 15, 20 of us, all of us have friends and family. All of us could spread that same message, and whoever don't want to accept it, cool. You could go about your way. You could, nobody's forcing you to do your own thing. But the ones who understand that the more we work together, the more progress we're going to get, and the more individual benefit you can get as well. Those are the ones who are going to join, and those who are going to make the group bigger, and those are the ones who are going to contribute.
Let me show you an actual example of that. Right now, Right now, the guy, my brother there, Denisio Wyatt. This man doing his spaceless gardening in St. Peter's. He's also a person who I'm talking to, who we're networking with. But imagine he takes a simple formula. He takes like a box garden, and he decides, you know what, goes to Ebenezer Community Council and says, look, I want you to go to all your people in the community, in your Ebenezer community, and tell them, okay, we're going to bring the wood, we're going to bring the dirt. We just want you to grow a garden. Whatever produce you want, preferably not what your neighbors is growing. And we want to do this for about 8 months. 8 months to a year. See whatever can grow. And before you realize it, if we have 50 people growing 50 different crops, we feed in ourselves, We pretty much feed in ourselves. That's a community-based effort. You take that community effort now and you copy-paste that, and you do it in St. Peter's, you do it in Dutch Quarter, you do it in Cold Bay, you do it in that. Eventually, the island is feeding itself. But why are we doing this? Because, we got a garden there, these people doing that there themselves. They're doing that there themselves. But no, we all have to do this community.
But that's what I was saying is a pride something because that wasn't your.
It was exactly. It wasn't your idea.
One of the main reasons government can't get nothing done is because that party do that idea. Okay, no, we're gonna scrap that. We're gonna do we order. We're gonna focus on something we find is more important.
Exactly.
Not realizing that legit. It sounds cliche and it sounds cheesy, but the more man cooperate, the more people going to actually benefit from it.
Yeah. And oddly enough, I think that comes back to education to some degree. Because people's ability to conceptualize and understand abstract thought and abstract thinking, things that they can't immediately see like directly, how do I directly benefit, understanding that bigger picture kind of thinking. At least that's my theory. I feel like that is severely lacking. So it results in a more selfish, what's the immediate benefit for me personally type of thinking. Like, if you could eradicate that, but I don't know. Education to me has always been something I personally advocate for, even though I'm probably the worst example of somebody using it.
Again, remember, it's about education, not schooling. It's two different things.
Yeah, because that was always my thing. I love learning. I feel like if you ask anybody that, like, if ask the wifey the amount of time I spent looking into all kind of random stuff, the type of things that I look into, because I'm curious about it, I'm interested in it, and it's like, I'm not learning. I don't know. If you look at my track record school-wise, you'd be like, okay, obviously this guy is a complete failure. He knows nothing and stuff like that. But I think I know a little bit about certain things.
Yeah. I mean, look, you've done pretty good with yourself. This is what people need to realize. You don't need, again, in the world that we live in,
the link up would not exist. If it wasn't for YouTube tutorials, the link up would not exist.
All that you're learning right now, you need the basic understanding of stuff and basically critical thinking. I'm gonna put a plug for the foundation I'm working with, 4C Foundation. Basically, they've shown me one of the greatest examples ever. Before Irma, we started a project, and this project was to implement fiber optics in the schools, in the high schools. I don't know. I can't say for how long government most probably been trying to do this, but we got this done. No government involvement. Well, minimal government involvement before I step on anybody's toes. But we got this shit done. We got MPC got restructured, re-networked, Academy got re-networked and all of that stuff. Irma came and a lot of that got put on halt or pause, however far it came along. But we got that done. We crowdsourced, we got funding, we put the different people together and we created an entire program that the schools agreed to. And all they have to do, they get all of this. All they have to do is write annual reports. Give back feedback on how it's working, how it's developing. And these is the type of initiative that anybody can do. We can all pick up ourselves and say, you know what? Hey, let's go to the supermarket and hey, whatever old food you have, we would like to come and collect it from you. And feed the homeless. I mean, I'm not saying, go get them rotten stuff, but there's food that's being thrown away every day that ends up just on the landfill, and then you see people scavenging for it. This is not the state that we're supposed to be in as a small community. As a small community, we're supposed to be able to network more freely, more actively.
Be easier to oversee
exactly.
and have some control of what's going on.
But we're relying so much on the government, and the government is not changing our infrastructure to facilitate these things.
And that's something I've been preaching on this show as well. We need to stop relying on government. Man, we legit need to stop relying on government because obviously we're not getting nowhere with it.
It can't to me like that whole. A great example of what we're talking about here is, I would say, the green box thing that Jennifer them doing. To me is exactly that. Like, they started to figure out, okay, it work here. We find a couple places to set up these extra bins that separate the plastic, the glass, whatever.
Yep.
And then once you do it there, you see how that works, tell people about it in that neighborhood or whatever, you spread it, put it everywhere. And then eventually you have a whole integrated recycling system, and then you could do shit from there.
Because eventually you have to reach the point it's so big, government cannot avoid it.
Yep, that is it. Once you're big enough, government can't avoid it. Because what will happen is they're going to look bad.
Yes.
And then the people going to realize they're not necessary. So in order to circumvent that, what they do, they get active. They get active.
Hire the people or whatever. And stuff
exactly,
like that.
exactly. But they do that, and that's the way you change government, by showing them, you know what, we don't need you. We can do this without you. And then what they will do, they'll follow suit. Government does work like that because if they ain't relevant no more, they ain't got no more power.
Like, that's an interesting thing to take it kind of out this man, seeing that like in the States with the U.S. Postal Service and the like how good Amazon being a private company is doing this is like, do we still need the U.S. Postal Service and these delivery companies for what they're doing if we got private entities doing a better job at delivering packages and mail or whatever it is you may need?
That's the thing. The problem is you will always need an overseer.
I mean, Elon Musk busy just getting the government upset. Be like, yo, how you mean you could use reusable rockets? How you get our work? We can't do that, NASA. Like, you're making us look bad, homie. Stop it.
You understand? Start pulling down some rockets from in space, what just floating down.
But that's the thing, again, before I'll come back, the only way that can happen is through innovation. The only way that can happen with St. Martin's concern is the students coming back. So now my question is, before we end, because we're going on like an hour and thing, my last question, Pete, how you would get more students to come back? Or what would you think St. Martin government or St. Martin in general, not necessarily just the government, need to do to get our students back, or to get the young people back?
And you said it yourself, man. They need to see that there's innovative new ideas, projects, developments happening, and then they themselves will want to come back, because this all started, the platform that we're developing, it all started because I sat down with a group of people who are up here 10, 20 years who just decide, you know what, we won't just lay roots here and done, and we start talking about what we think St. Martin need, and all they're pitching concepts, they're pitching innovative concepts, and if they feel that, you know what, it's not just all talk and drama and conflict anymore, and if they see that St. Martin is actively moving in a direction, trust you me, they will come back. That is what I feel and believe, which is why, again, this platform is meant to, show St. Martin itself. This platform is meant to show St. Martiners abroad, this is what's happening in St. Martin. It's meant to, reveal everything that you don't hear over the whole conflict of politics and Holland versus St. Martin,
who are getting shoot
and fights, and this man and that woman and whatever.
Yeah, who ain't getting hard.
Exactly. So
I agree.
All of that is getting drowned out, and we're trying to, bring that conversation back to the front. Because,
well, I mean, it's can't say that we're trying to do anything different, because that's the whole purpose of the link up. I mean, we bring anybody from politicians to rappers, sports people. We had somebody here making their own toothpaste and soap.
It's all about the intent, because again, like I said, I made a bad reference with the bullying, but it's all about the intent. When you break it down, after all of that has happened, you sit down with a bully, you realize these people just looking to connect. So at the end of it, everybody just looking to connect. And if we can show them that, you know what, you in Holland, you doing this, but you can come back and connect, or you can stay there and still connect through us, or through this medium, or through that podcast, or through these people, trust you me, we're going to eventually see an exodus. And yeah, unfortunately, Irma kind of set us back, but fortunately, Irma put us in check. Yep. Now we're looking a lot more, stricter, a lot more actively at ourselves.
I kind of feel like we was going to the right, and Irma kind of was like, look, this way. You're supposed to go this way.
I know there was definitely a lot of talk, and it was like an example that Jade had gave, when she was here, because she was there, she was on the island during Irma and stuff, and she was talking about the way like it kind of allowed you to see this unity and whatnot, everybody just helping each other. Oh, you got this, I got this, let's come together and think how we went during the time of no current and everything just in a disarray.
Look at it. If we have to look back at it, again, bringing Ebenezer as an example, some of my most memorable times is when current was gone. For like weeks.
Forces that community, forces you to engage.
Everybody was outside every day. People was running dominoes, running music. We had drinks. We had things like almost everybody, man, woman, child, was outside chilling.
Yeah, when I was younger, Ebenezer used to be so brilliant after like a hurricane. Ebenezer used to be so active. Everybody used to be outside, just shoveling and moving things around.
And we just small neighborhood. Imagine the bigger ones.
Exactly. It's that type of mentality, that type of thinking, community thinking that we gotta, promote on Samatin, because there is where it's actively possible. It's not too big to not be possible. It's really possible because we have a small community. We have a small
look at the spread of information and stuff like that, how quickly it goes in that small community. Like the minute some drama happen, you go up the road, everybody don't know it.
All night.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I just tell my mother messages of things that happen at Samatin.
The other day there, I mean, social media, for all its positive and negatives, it actually does, spread information. The other day there, a super kid accidentally sneezed at the possibility of government fall, and everybody kick up. I come to hear about it. I get the message, oh, government fall, you know that?
I had seen that, and I didn't know if he was referencing something old or he was just fucking around because his thing, or what. But I had raised my eyebrow to that post, so I was like, okay, what's going on there? But I ain't seen nobody else say nothing, so I was like, all right,
exactly.
Maybe it's something
he was
for
just
the show.
referencing to the anniversary of when last it did or something like that. But wow, craziness. So information is technically the way to go, man. If we can, join our voices, join our efforts, and show people this is what we're doing, I really think that Samatin can become better. And definitely a lot of people who are not in Samatin, from Samatin, will want to come back and take part.
All right. So before we close, is there any last message that you want to leave with people, for example, that might be interested in getting involved or seeing the idea and liking it or all of these things?
Just participate. No matter if it's, an initiative that I'm doing, or it's an NGO, or if it's, anybody else who has like what you feel is a brilliant idea, participate. Because if we don't do anything and we think that, okay, that sounds good, man, you can do this, it might not get done. We need to be active in any minor possible positive endeavors, and then for sure, even if it's a little bit, we'll get there.
And how can they contact you if they want to get involved and participate?
Yes.
My name is Sjorensly Valies, but it's kind of hard to find. But you can go to the different entities that I am a part of. You can go to the Workshop SXM on Facebook. You can go to 4C Foundation, the website, or Facebook. You can go to my personal page, Sjorensly Valies, SJOR, and just keep going from there. You can find, I'm involved in so much different things. You can find me on WhatsApp, on
Twitter, any of them things.
Instagram again is the Workshop SXM.
Okay then.
Yeah.
All right, and I think with that, I feel like we covered most of what we needed to cover. Wow,
that's more than an hour, man.
Yeah,
It'll creep up. We're telling you, I'd say sometimes we don't have like a good 6 topics to take, but the amount of crap we just talk here, sometimes we get like 2.
But I like it. You gotta inform the people, and you guys are doing a good job, man.
But we appreciate the support, But this is something I want to say too. In addition to what Piet was saying, if y'all have any projects, or if y'all have anything y'all want to do or idea you want to start, just start it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me just put this out there too. November 17th, I'm gonna be having a meeting of creative minds. I haven't put it out there officially yet, but again, find me on social media. Find me, and then if you have an idea,
where this gonna take place?
It's gonna be in Samatin. I'm still working out logistics.
When you get the flyer and everything for it, send it across. And
the date is already set. It's gonna be November 17th, so it's a few weeks from now.
So y'all who in SM, check it out.
Stay on the lookout.
And like again saying, y'all have any ideas, just start it. Because again, the link up is another example. If we didn't I had no experience in anything media wise. And if we were just waiting for this to come or that to come, it would have never started. It would have never reached how we is. So if you have something, if you have an idea, if you have anything, just start.
And I mean, just to piggyback off of that, it's like, we didn't have most of what we have now when we first started. Like, this is the refined link up compared to a year ago.
We would record it with a phone.
Yeah, I mean, before that, we didn't even had no video to begin with at all.
Exactly.
We only had two mics to start with as well. Like, it was just me and you talking. Like, there was lots of changes that.
Yes. So
we come a long way. We still got a long way to go, if you ask me. But I mean,
no, definitely,
you gotta acknowledge the progress.
But the thing is, it's a start, and through us, other people get to come on. Through us, other people get exposed. Through us, other people get the thing, and that's how it's supposed to go. We're not saying we're going to be like the Breakfast Club of St. Martin, but through our initiative, maybe somebody else going to start it.
See the idea,
would
look
become
at all the things we do wrong, come up with idea that's even better.
Exactly, and that's why again, y'all go check the cover. Okay, that's not actually the shows, but under the cover, y'all check out
Cultivate
and Let Her Finish.
Oh, this man podcast.
Big up the vibe.
Yes.
Vibe. Yep.
That's another one I got to start plugging because it is always hit me up. Check out the vibe with Devondre.
Oh, okay.
And I personally just watch Andrew Dick Late Night Show because
I just see it on my Facebook all the time. I just check it out now and then.
I find it before this.
Again, like I say, you pull the positive from everywhere.
So and then again, like don't forget to also, if you have any free time, check out any of your NGOs, the Red Cross, the Green Box, anything in St. Martin with the community. Like I keep saying, we got
Nature Foundation,
especially Nature Foundation. We need to help ourselves because we can't depend on government.
And recycle. Remember, people, you can recycle.
Yep, it starts at home.
Yep.
It starts at home.
And after all this positivity community stuff, I almost feel guilty just plugging my music. It really affects me. But even my music, I'm speaking on stuff. Because if you listen to the song Lion's Mouth, one of the main messages on that song is getting the community. It's like a protest song, practically looking at all the issues that are going wrong, from the dump to the rising land prices, the fact that nobody can buy land on the island, food, the prices of that, all of this is addressed in the song. So it's like, that's the idea behind that. I mean, it's not completely selfish, me just doing a shameless plug. I mean, and it is a group, so it's not just me, but in any case, okay,
I got it.
Lion's Mouth. That latest one is on all streaming services and whatnot, so
nice.
Check that out. Whatever you use, Spotify, Tidal, all of them things.
Yeah, and then let me just put this for Woods. Y'all don't forget to check out Melons and Red 2 on SoundCloud and on the I can't remember all his mandates, but I know for sure if y'all
Urban Madness.
Yeah, but by the time it come out, Urban Madness gonna be that's tomorrow.
Plugs, man. There's a lot of plugs. Okay, I want to plug you. I want to plug Poets Lounge also. My girl Ezra doing her new video segment with Devondre them. I believe. I think so. Island Foodie, check that out too. That's crazy, man.
I don't, who's Island Foodie?
Island Foodie, I believe. Hey, check. I don't want to give wrong information on Mike, but either way, I know Ezra Richardson is involved in that, and Devondre them is supposed to be involved in that.
Okay, I'm gonna ask my sister because she wanted to do something around like food or like carnival time or something like that.
I hope I give her a good plug.
But if y'all looking places to party on the 15th of November, let me just make sure I'm not saying bullshit. 15th November we will be in John Doe. Come out, enjoy yourself, free up yourself.
Nice.
And Woods going to be playing, also known as Woods the Chosen. Come enjoy yourself.
Alright, so I think that does it for all the stuff that that was a long plug session. So with that, we'll see you people the next time we link up.
Blessings.
Peace.
Yes.